All right, so if you're seeing this video, it means that you are looking to reset your body, to turn it into a temple of God, because you haven't been. You've been treating it like a garbage disposal. And believe me, I am no stranger to treating my body like a garbage disposal. That is why I created this 72-hour fasting reset, because we were created in the image and likeness of God, and our bodies are quite literally temples of God. And if we don't treat our bodies like a temple, then our channel becomes clouded and we're not able to hear God's communication with us. One of the ways God primarily communicates with us is through our felt sense, our intuition, which largely resides in the gut. So if our gut is constantly inflamed due to eating a lot of processed foods, stress, alcohol, inflammation, then that causes a lot of problems. Not just like digestive problems like gas, bloating, heartburn, indigestion, post-meal fatigue, but it also affects our brain. If our gut is leaky and compromised due to us feeding it garbage, then we can experience things like anxiety and depression, not able to hear God's communication with us, which, newsflash, God does not want us to consume garbage. God does not want us to consume all of this processed nonsense. And even if you're eating healthy food, like my problem was not processed garbage. My problem was overconsumption of healthy treats. So again, that's why I created this 3-day fasting temple reset, because after I broke what ended up being an 18-day fast, I did it unintentionally, out of integrity. I broke it too fast, like too soon, too quickly. So I had too much food too quickly, allowed my desires and temptations to come in. I was like, okay, I got the message that I received for going into this fast. I'm good, but I definitely gave in to temptation, and that caused some digestive upset. I noticed that I started to get acne, which I don't normally get. I started to experience digestive upset like gas and bloating and heartburn and indigestion. And I was like, okay. After a week of that, it was like just giving into temptation and overconsumption. I started to not be able to clearly hear God's communication, which is the whole reason I embarked on the fast to begin with. So then it was time to do another reset, which is why I created this template. And I'm going to release this to you guys. It's a 19-page PDF. So this video, we're going to be going over the basics of what is in here, but this will be free for you guys to download in the description. And it will also get you access to my community, the Thrive Collective, for support, guidance, and wise counsel, and also to connect with other like-valued people who are on this same journey. So let's dive into it. Genesis 1:26. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, to be like us." So as I said, we were created in the image and likeness of God, not just spiritually, but physically. Our bodies are literally temples designed to house His Spirit and to reflect His character here on earth. The problem is that when we neglect His temple through overconsumption, disconnection, and overindulgence, we fall out of alignment with our divine purpose. And this leads to death, not just physical death, but spiritual death. And it feels that way. Like when I came out of my 18-day fast, when I decided to break it, which for context, if you guys aren't familiar, I embarked on a 40-day fast, but I got the message that I was looking for on day 12, was convicted I was going to break it on day 13, but then second-guessed myself, which caused a lot of problems, and then ended up breaking it on day 18. And the problems that caused was I realized that God communicates with me through my felt sense and through my intuition. And I was convicted I was going to break it on day 13, the day after I received this message. And then I second guessed myself and my ego got in the way. I was like, well, no, I said I'm going to do 40 days, so I'm going to do 40 days. And it was like me trying to get my will as opposed to listening to what God was communicating. So then I broke it on day 18. And because it was this battle of second guessing myself, I did it out of integrity. And then came the feelings of shame and guilt. And then I gave into overconsumption and distraction and overindulgence. I kind of like slipped back into these habits that I was looking to remove myself from. So that's, again, why I created this, is to get back into alignment, to reset. So fasting is not just a health trend. I know it's very common out there. I have been doing fasting for years for the health benefits, but the spiritual benefits that come from fasting when you connect with God in this intentional manner are incredible. It was on day 12 of my fast where the Holy Spirit came upon me and spoke to me. It was incredible. So this 72-hour fasting protocol is a fantastic way to start to move into these longer fasts if you feel called. But a 3-day fast is perfect amount of time to reset the gut, reset your body, reset your mind, and get back on track. So by surrendering to the process of fasting and implementing intentional habits, which I give you guys a daily ritual to follow in the morning and in the evening to align yourself with this protocol. So you're not just fasting from food, you'll also be fasting from any vices you have, in addition to incorporating these new healthy habits. And then by reintroducing proper nourishment at the right time, you honor God, restore your vitality, and return to your divine design, treating your body like a temple. Because as it says in 1 Corinthians 3:16 through 17, do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you? If anyone destroys God's temple, God will destroy him. For God's temple is holy, and you are that temple. So if you've been treating your body like a garbage disposal, destroying your body like I have done, then this reset is for you. So why fasting works. Now we're going to cover the mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual benefits for fasting. So like I said, your gut and your brain are connected. And they're connected primarily through the vagus nerve. So if your gut is inflamed, imbalanced, or impaired, your brain will feel it. So you can experience things like brain fog, depression, anxiety, low motivation, irritability or reactivity, or trouble focusing or making decisions. So like I said, 90 to 95% of serotonin is produced in your gut, not your brain. This is important because serotonin regulates things like mood and emotional stability, your sleep cycles, your cognitive sharpness, impulse control, that's a big one, and gut motility, which is how well things move through your digestive system. So fasting helps heal your gut by reducing inflammation, activating autophagy, and rebalancing your gut microbiome. And again, in the protocol, I go more in depth into all of these, but this is just a brief overview for this video. So what you can experience during a fast is significantly more mental clarity. That's one of the best benefits that you will receive, is just this feeling of clarity because you're not all gummed up with these toxins. And then emotional balance. So you'll be more calm, less reactive, and experience a greater amount of patience. And as it says in James 1:12, God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation, which fasting will definitely tempt you and test you. So strengthen your patience. And so once you heal your gut, you're able to heal and renew your mind. And as it says in Romans 12:2, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So fasting not only renews your spirit, but your brain chemistry, giving you a mind capable of clarity, conviction, and communion with God. All right, now on to the physical benefits of fasting. So I mentioned before autophagy. This is one of the primary reasons why fasting is so beneficial. It's because autophagy means literally self-eating. It's your body cleaning up these old senescent cells and misfolded proteins to clear them out because they're not serving you. And this starts to kick in at the minimum like 16 hours, but really more towards 24 hours, and then just enhances after 48, 72 hours. So why autophagy is so important is because it can prevent cancer and neurodegeneration because it's cleaning up all of these cells that no longer serve the body. It enhances longevity. It rejuvenates our skin, organs and muscle tissue, and it resets immune function. Because as it says in John 15:2, every branch that does not bear fruit, he prunes so that it will be even more fruitful. So when we give our bodies this chance to detox and clear out all of the nonsense, then we function properly. The second physical benefit is stem cell regeneration. Extended fasting, like 48 to 72 hours, boosts stem cell production, which are cells that can become any tissue that the body needs. So why that's important is that it not only helps to regenerate the intestinal lining, but it also strengthens your immune system and strengthens and supports the repair of organs, skin, muscle, and even the brain. The third physical benefit of fasting is mitochondrial optimization. So your mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. They are what give you energy. And unfortunately today, most people are experiencing mitochondrial deficiency. They are not functioning properly due to massive amounts of stress, feeding their body toxic garbage, being exposed to EMFs, drinking tap water, consuming alcohol, smoking cigarettes. There's so many things that disrupt our mitochondrial health. So fasting is one of the best ways to enhance your mitochondrial health, which boosts your mitochondrial efficiency and density, which leads to more energy. The more mitochondria you have, the better they function, the more energy you have because they produce ATP. It also enhances fat burning because your body shifts from burning glucose to ketones. And then also cellular detoxification, which reduces oxidative stress. The fourth physical benefit of fasting is hormonal recalibration. So human growth hormone, or HGH, is increased by up to 500% during prolonged fasting, which aids in fat loss and muscle repair. Insulin decreases dramatically, which helps with fat burning and reducing inflammation. And testosterone is increased, especially in men, so it can support overall hormonal optimization. And then the fifth and final physical benefit of fasting is reduced inflammation and gut healing. So during a prolonged fast, it gives your gut time to rest and regenerate because you're not digesting any food, so it has a chance to clean itself up. So it's able to restore these tight junctions in your gut to start sealing. It also reduces inflammatory markers. Your immune system recalibrates. You experience stronger digestion and better nutrient absorption, and you are able to eliminate symptoms like gas, bloating, and IBS. All right, on to the emotional benefits of fasting. So as we already talked about, up to 95% of serotonin and up to 50% of dopamine is produced in your gut, which are neurotransmitters responsible for happiness, motivation, focus, and just overall emotional regulation. So when we fast, we're able to heal our gut and replenish it with healthy bacteria. And as you'll see later in this video, once we nourish it with the proper nutrients, then we're able to heal our gut and be able to get more of this serotonin and dopamine. Second major emotional benefit has to do with your vagal tone and your nervous system regulation. So fasting increases HRV, which is heart rate variability, which I track using this Whoop. I will put the link to this in the description. This is a phenomenal tracker. It not only tracks your heart rate variability, it also tracks resting heart rate, your activity level, it tracks your breathing rate, like oxygen, and all of your sleep cycles. So this is what I use to track. So with this improved HRV, you can expect to experience a more grounded, steady state, not being so upregulated all the time. You feel safe and you feel resilient under pressure. In addition to fasting, practices like breath work and meditation and cold showers can all help with improving vagal tone, and all of those habits are going to be in the rituals in this protocol. The third emotional benefit from fasting is that you can break your dependence on dopamine. So this is why this isn't just a food fast, but also a fast from whatever your vices are, whether that be alcohol, nicotine, cannabis, pornography, whatever your comfort-seeking distraction is, we are also going to be eliminating those during this protocol. Because what happens when you remove these short-term feel-goods is your dopamine receptors can reset, which leads to less craving-driven behavior, greater satisfaction with simple things, not needing anything else to feel a certain way, and increased motivation and peace. So you stop being driven so much by impulse and start living with intentional integrity. The fourth emotional benefit of fasting is emotional resilience in discomfort. So as I said, we're not just giving up food during this fast, we're also giving up any vices, any comfort-seeking addictions that we have, like excessive scrolling, like alcohol, nicotine, cannabis, pornography, whatever your go-to comfort-seeking distraction is, we're also giving that up. And in doing so, it will allow you to see the urge to snack when you feel anxious, the instinct to scroll when you're bored, or the desire to numb when lonely, and just be able to sit in that. And instead of fulfilling the desire, instead go to God, because you'll notice that even if you fill the desire, it does not fill you full. Only the Holy Spirit can fill you full. So by giving up each of those comfort-seeking behaviors, it gives you an opportunity to invite the Holy Spirit in, to turn inward, to breathe, and sit with God instead. All right, the spiritual benefits of fasting. Here we go. So like I said, fasting is more than just a health hack. It is one of the most powerful spiritual disciplines available to us. It is a sacred act of surrender that aligns our entire being with the will of God. And you see this throughout the Bible, from Moses to Jesus to David and Daniel. Fasting was an integral part of their journey. And it's a way to humble yourself before God, to seek divine direction, to break chains of bondage, and to draw near to the heart of the Father. So when done in the right spirit, fasting does not weaken you. It strengthens your spirit and silences the flesh, making you more sensitive to God's presence, guidance, and power. So fasting in this way silences the flesh, because as it says in Galatians 5:16, walk by the Spirit and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. Because the flesh is loud. It's screaming at us to give into these temptations and desires, and it craves pleasure, comfort, and distraction. But when we fast, we deny our flesh its usual indulgences, like food, social media, pornography, these quick dopamine hits. And in the stillness that follows, you begin to hear God again, because fasting makes space for spirit over appetite, for discipline over desire, and purpose over pleasure. And it trains you to say, not my will, but yours be done. Because when your body is constantly stimulated and your mind is clouded with this noise, then it's hard to discern God's whisper. And fasting turns down this volume so you can more clearly hear the Holy Spirit. So in doing this, you may experience a clearer direction in prayer. Spiritual verses like coming alive, like feeling like they're being spoken to you. Divine downloads in your breathwork or meditation practices. Answers to long-standing questions, which is one of the things I experienced during my fast. And a sense of deep peace and conviction. This type of fasting can also break spiritual strongholds, because if you're watching this video, I imagine you are experiencing what can be classified as spiritual warfare, being divided between the world and the kingdom, being tempted by the devil and giving into those temptations, but wanting to seek God. So some spiritual resistance can only be broken when fasting is combined with prayer. As it says in Matthew 17:21, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. I'm telling you guys, prayer and fasting are two of the most powerful spiritual tools that we can use to eliminate things like lust and addiction, fear or confusion, persistent giving into sinful patterns, and emotional oppression or demonic influence. We can break those through prayer and fasting. All right, so now let's dive into the actual protocol. So this is a 72-hour fast. So 3 days minimum of no food. So here's what you're going to eliminate. All food, all caloric beverages, so no juices. I think these juice cleanse fasts are a little ridiculous. Like, we're eliminating those on this fast. all stimulants, so no coffee, no caffeinated teas, no pre-workouts, no caffeine of any kind, no nicotine, and this goes along with eliminating all vices, so no alcohol, no smoking, whether that's tobacco or cannabis, no scrolling mindlessly, social media, no pornography, and no excessive use of tech or media. This time is best spent dedicated to God and to understanding yourself. So more time journaling and meditating and reading and praying and walking and even just sitting in boredom as opposed to mindlessly scrolling. All right, so here's what you can consume. Filtered, structured, or spring water, like high quality water. No tap water. Tap water is contaminated with toxins. High quality sea salt. This is a big one. Making sure you're getting your electrolytes in. I use Celtic sea salt. That's a good brand. Himalayan sea salt is fine, but making sure you're getting your electrolytes. And then you can also consume herbal teas that are non-caffeinated if you like. That's optional, but make sure that they're unsweetened, no artificial anything in there, and caffeine free. And then here are some optional supplements that you can supplement to enhance the fast. So number one being creatine. So not only does this support energy by improving ATP production, but it also is good for brain health, can help with sleep, and also muscle preservation. And then Shilajit, which provides trace minerals, can help heal the gut because it's got humic and fulvic acid in there, and it supports detox as well and improves mitochondrial function and hormonal health. So Shilajit is a good one. And then magnesium. This one I would say is a must because up to 80% of people are deficient in magnesium, which leads to things like stress, anxiety, poor sleep, poor digestion, poor brain health, magnesium plays a role in over 600 different enzymatic functions. It's one of the key minerals that, unfortunately, like I said, most people are deficient in. So I will leave the link to the magnesium that I use in the description. You guys can get it. It's Magnesium Breakthrough, the best magnesium on the market. In fact, let's roll the commercial.
Do you suffer with stress, anxiety, trouble sleeping? If so, you could be part of the 80% of people who don't get enough magnesium in their diet. Most supplement brands use cheap, low-quality ingredients at ineffective doses. Bioptimizers goes all in on their formulations, combining 7 different forms of bioavailable magnesium. That's why I recommend Magnesium Breakthrough from Bioptimizers.
All right, so now that we got the fast covered, let's talk about the rituals that you will be incorporating during this fast. So here is the rising ritual. So the first thing every morning, the first conscious thought that you have, I want you to dive into a prayer of gratitude, thanking God for waking you up, for filling your lungs with air, for giving you another opportunity to live your purpose. So that's step one. Step two is spending at least 15 minutes reading the Bible, studying scripture, because that is the primary way that God communicates with us, through his word. So read the Bible for 15 minutes, pick out a specific verse or phrase, and then meditate on that verse, repeating it in your head and out loud until you have it memorized. All right, that's key. Meditate on it until you have it memorized, and you can refer back to the text when necessary. Once you've meditated on it to the point of memorization, then you're going to do 3 rounds of 33 breaths. And there's no wrong way to do this, but I give a little breakdown in the Temple Reset guide. So make sure you download this. And then, like I said, you have access to the community, so you can ask me any questions in there. After the 3 rounds of 33 breaths, then you're going to journal anything that came up. And then last but certainly not least, you're going to spend 15 minutes moving your body, getting some blood flowing in your temple. And this isn't like intense exercise. This is just feeling into what your body is asking for. Maybe you need to stretch. Maybe you need to mobilize. Maybe you do need to do some strength training. But feel into your body and give your body what it is asking for. All right, for the nightly ritual, at least 2 hours before bed, you're going to block all artificial blue light. And I include the links to the red light bulbs that I use, the blue light blocking glasses, and the blue light blocking computer software that I use in the template. So download it and all of the links will be in there. And then 1 hour before bed, no technology and no work, because this is your time to spend with God and with your family or significant other, and also to prepare for tomorrow, anything you need to get done. And then before you go to bed, you're going to journal on these 4 questions. How did I honor God today? Where did I act out of integrity today? What did I allow to distract me today? And how can I be better tomorrow? So answer those 4 questions, be radically honest with yourself, and you will start to see some great changes. And to stay consistent with answering those reflection questions and all of the other habits in the rituals, I shamelessly plug my 90-day transformation journal, the Captain's Code. The link for that will also be in the description. It's also in the protocol. It's a 90-day transformation journal that helps you track your morning and evening ritual. All right, now breaking the fast. This is as important as the fast itself, because if you do it unintentionally, like I did, you're going to experience a lot of digestive issues, gas, bloating, heartburn, indigestion, acne, brain fog, all of these things. So you want to make sure that you break it mindfully, slowly, and with intention. So to do that, I give you guys a recipe in the protocol of the Chocoliscious gut healing refeeding shake. It is absolutely exquisite, and not only does it taste really freaking good, but it also works like gangbusters for restoring the lining of your gut and replenishing the healthy bacteria and getting your digestive system back online in a responsible manner. So I won't be going into the details on this video because I include a full breakdown in the Temple Reset Guide, which the link to download this for free will be in the description to get the full recipe of this Chocolicious shake, in addition to the links to all of the supplements that I use in here, because that's the important part. You want to make sure that you get these supplements because they are the best at repairing the lining of your gut. So you're able to digest your food and, restore the gut-brain connection. So everything that we've talked about, including the recipe for this fast, the rising and evening rituals, how to break the fast, which supplements I recommend, guidelines on food, like what to include, what not to include after this fast, all of it is in this 72-hour Temple Reset protocol. So links will be in the description. Download it for free. And if you have any questions, hit up the community chat. And until next time, remember, when we treat our bodies like a temple of God, we will make thriving standard. God bless. Peace and love, y'all. All right, the moment you've all been waiting for. I'm going to show you guys how to make my Chocolicious gut healing refeeding shake to incorporate as your first meal after the 72-hour Temple Reset fast. So the base of this is, of course, raw milk, because raw is law. Raw milk still has all of the enzymes and probiotics and beneficial bacteria in here to help you break down and absorb the milk. So a lot of people aren't lactose intolerant. They're just drinking pasteurized milk. So raw milk will help your gut, help replenish the healthy bacteria, in addition to many other things. So that's the base. We'll do, I don't know, what is that, about 12 ounces of raw milk, a scoop of colostrum, which is good for many different things. It's good for testosterone boosting, for immunity, but why it's beneficial after fast is that it works wonders at restoring the lining of your gut. Also, on a similar note, we've got Microbiome Breakthrough. This is their creamy chocolate flavor. This stuff works like gangbusters for just completely eradicating all leaky gut symptoms, just restoring the lining of your gut. Plus, it tastes delicious. I'll dry scoop this stuff. This is like one of my treat snacks that I'll have. So I'll just dry scoop it in the evening as dessert because it tastes so good. And it helps your gut. So in here is IGY Max probiotics. So I'll do 2 scoops of this. And this is the last of this. So I'll just dump the rest of this in here. There we go. This stuff is phenomenal. This is from Bioptimizers. This is, in my opinion, one of their most underrated products because of how well it works to just repair the gut and eliminate symptoms of leaky gut. So we've got that in here. And then next up, we've got the Mushroom Breakthrough. So this will help your brain and body get back into alignment and revitalize after the 72-hour fast. This is loaded with adaptogenic mushrooms, chaga, reishi, lion's mane, and cordyceps. It's got a little bit of collagen in there as well for hair, skin, nails, and joints. So the combination of these two make it absolutely delicious, the Chocoliscious flavor. And then we're going to add in some masszymes. So I just break these caps open in here to begin the digestive process. These are digestive enzymes like protease, amylase, lipases that help break down proteins, carbs, and fats. So it begins the digestion in the glass to help aid your digestive system because it's been offline for a few days. So that's why we are restoring it with the beneficial bacteria from the raw milk and the microbiome breakthrough to heal the lining of the gut. Same thing with the colostrum. And then the mushroom breakthrough is just a nice little brain and body boost. I also like to put in some creatine for brain and muscle health. There we go. And now let's mix. Chocolicious. So delicious. You want to mix it real good. Get it nice and creamy. All right. Once you've got it nice and frothy, oh, it's time for a taste test. Got a little captain in you? Cheers. Oh, this is really good. So there you have it, folks. I am going to thoroughly enjoy this because I myself am coming off of a 3-day fast. So going to savor this, allow it to replenish my gut, to revitalize my body. This is the absolute best way to break your fast, to restore the lining of your gut and to replenish your temple so you can start treating it as such. So I'm going to go pray before finishing the rest of this and hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, remember, together, when we treat our body like a living temple of God, when we honor God, we will make thriving standard. God bless. Peace and love, y'all.